Lemon Techno.
Hello and welcome to this week's Top Hacker News articles. The top ones this week include this one from Apple that, despite its relative recency, it's got a lot of comments and a lot of points, meaning that there has to be a bit of drama in there. If you click on the link, you'll notice it's a press release from Apple announcing changes to iOS, Safari, and the App Store in the European Union. Some of the biggest changes that you'll notice are that they're offering new options for distributing iOS apps from alternative app marketplaces. In other words, they will enable support for third-party app stores, yet the apps are still going to be reviewed by Apple in the end, making it a bit counterintuitive. This came about after the outcome of the Epic lawsuit, and no doubt they're trying to put a wrench in the works here, trying to slow down any potential for opening up for more app marketplaces. On the upside, they are offering new frameworks and APIs for alternative browser engines, enabling us to use something else than just a reskinned version of Safari like all other browsers on iOS currently are. Towards the bottom of the article, you'll notice the biggest changes. So on one side, you have reduced commission 10 to 17%, which seems like a good thing, but then you'll notice that there's not only a payment processing fee, but also core technology fee. So if there is more than 1 million downloads of your app, regardless of whether it costs money or if it's a free app, then you have to start paying 50 cents of a euro for each install, which is quite disturbing indeed. Theo Rance has a video where he dives into this in depth and provides, I think, the best coverage of the press release, the effects, and everything, including all the commentary on Twitter and whatnot.
That's a $2 million a year bill because your free app went viral. That is actual insanity.
I think you should really have a look at this video titled Apple's New Fees Will Kill Free Apps, because it goes quite in depth and it has a lot of useful information, because this should be known by everyone regardless of whether they're an iPhone user or not. I didn't dive too deep into the comments this time, yet I did see quite a few that are actually really angry at the whole situation, specifying that there might even be grounds to open legal proceedings and that Apple is going full frontal attack. So basically they're just trying to defend themselves in their usual ways, in their usual shenanigans after losing that epic court battle, and you know how they play. Anyway, I am very curious about where this is going to lead, and I'm going to give this article a score of 3 because it sucks. You know what? Let's bring this down to a 2. I really hope they reverse some of those points from the press release sooner than later. Article number 2 is going to be What's That Touchscreen in My Room by Nikita Lapkov, and it is a super interesting read. It details how they moved into a new apartment and found this interesting touchscreen on the wall, and then it was a matter of figuring out what it did. They found a manual for it eventually, then they found a router in the electricity compartment. Furthermore, they found a little button to boot it up to the home screen, and after replacing a fuse for the main server connected to the electric meter, they were able to boot up the application itself, which is a bit underwhelming. And then they found a local server interface for it, even using Socket.io and whatnot, and then prodded a bit with Nmap to see what else was exposed and other ways of interacting with the machine. The maker of that device has gone out of business, so it's fair game as far as I'm concerned. The first comment goes straight to the point that if you want people to be more environmentally conscious or economical in terms of utility consumption, they need far better data than a single figure per month. I have to 100% agree with this, because essentially what you want to know is, on a windowed basis, how is what you're doing affecting your energy consumption? I'm going to give the article a 9 because it's really well written and I definitely encourage you to have a look. Next on our list is a blog post by Nathan Sobo from Zed Industries mentioning that it is now open source. I had personally never heard about Zed, so I had a quick look through their website, and it turns out it's a really cool code editor. The article itself mentions that the motivation behind this was to try to make it the best product and the most advanced code editor. There was quite a mixed bag of comments, yet the general sentiment is people are appreciative of the fact that they're going open source and that they seem reasonably responsive to feedback. And no doubt, if you scroll down just for a bit, you'll start noticing comments bringing up Emacs. Of course. The score for this article is going to be an 8, as it's always good to see more open source projects popping up. We're going to have 2 honorable mentions this week. The first one is from Gray Crawford mentioning that they realized that chess pieces can be redesigned to be purely geometric attack directions. I think this design is super minimalist and super cool as well, except for the fact that the horse is a bit complicated to understand, I think. And the last one for this week is going to be Ollama releasing Python and JavaScript libraries. This makes it a lot easier to install Ollama locally. And if you're wondering what Ollama is, it is offline Llama LLM support. The coolest part of this is that it's going to enable people to very easily experiment locally with AI/LLMs. In the comments, there is a bit of negativity towards the installation process for Ollama, and I corroborated this with a colleague of mine who actually said that the security software on our laptops blocked the installation. However, if you look at the Ollama repository, you'll see that it's not that hard to actually compile the Go binary directly, and you'll also see really cool stuff like the model library that they support. We're going to give this article a 7 because anything that makes it easier to use LLMs, especially locally, is a great thing. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's Top Hacker News. Please leave a comment below if you'd like to discuss any of the points from this video. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you next week.